I think that if everybody loved themselves and got over this idea that self-love is egotistical and selfish, the world would be a better place. I think that to love yourself means to have complete compassion and understanding and forgiveness of yourself. It's to be your own best friend. It means to be completely tuned in to the truth of who you are, so that you can operate in the world as your truly sort of authentic self. I think if everybody was completely tuned in to who they are and really appreciated who they were and got the fact that when we are tuned into who we are, we can go out into the world and be of real service. You know, we're all here to do something special. You know, for some people it is to go and save the world. For some people it's to be a stay-at-home mum, and that's okay. You just got to know what your thing is and unapologetically embrace it and do it. You know, and I think self-love is the route to that, to really knowing yourself. My favorite saying, and it would be a great bumper car sticker, is awareness is the first step to change. And I think the process of loving yourself has to start with awareness, and it has to start with that real sort of cold, hard look at yourself and your life and being brave enough to kind of fess up to where you're at. You know, we're all really good at smiling, particularly women, smiling and keeping up appearances and you know, putting on a brave face and getting things done and making sure everyone else is happy. But we rarely stop and actually take a look at ourselves and ask ourselves, how do I really feel? And what's really going on for me? And what do I really want for my life? And what's working, but what's more importantly, what's not working? And being brave enough to take a look at that stuff that's not working. A lot of people don't want to do that because that's scary. Because if you really are honest about what's not working in your life, that could mean a whole lot of change. It could mean the end of a relationship. It could mean the change of a career, and what the hell does that mean? And where's the money coming from if I you know, quit my corporate job, or you know, whatever it is. So I think the first step into self-love is awareness. I'm a massive advocate for journaling. I think you get out a pen and paper. I mean, sure, you can type, you can even put notes in your phone, use whatever technology you have. Personally, nothing better than literally a pen and a piece of paper, or that sacred journal, and just writing down how you feel, writing down your thoughts, getting familiar with what on earth is going on in your head. Because most of us are just conditioned and in a habit of having thoughts going round and round and round on a loop in our heads. And if you actually just right now just stop and notice, you'll notice that there's the same stuff going around and around and around, and it needs a loop out. It's like a train track in a circle, and you just need to take one of the tracks out and give it a route out. And I find that when you start writing, you can unlock your mind and start to explore what's really going on in there. You know, when you start journaling, you'll start noticing the messages you're telling yourself. You know, I'm not good enough. I'm not clever enough. I can't do it. Really self-sabotaging thoughts. You'll start to notice where you're dissatisfied in your life. You'll start to explore what you really want for yourself. You'll start to get in touch with how you're really feeling about things. You can express your feelings onto paper. You can get angry and just scribble and swear if you want to, but it's safe. You're not hurting anybody. But through the process of journaling, you're really getting to the root of who you are and how you think and feel. You're creating that first awareness, and you're developing a relationship with yourself. I tend to work with women who are very high functioning. They tend to be very successful, very driven, but they don't feel successful in their personal life. Their experience of themselves isn't great. So they tend to kind of present with that piece of, you know, smiling and keeping up appearances, making sure everybody else is happy, usually to the detriment of their own well-being. I have quite a holistic view when it comes to the way I work with women, and I think it's really important to work with them from the mind, from the body, from the emotional self and the spirit. So there's four key areas. The ultimate aim is to develop that relationship with your spiritual self. And I really believe that we are more than just this human body. I think we are a spirit. And when we can develop a connection with our spirit, we feel fulfilled. That's where the fulfillment comes from, rather than the external sources. To get to that fulfillment, I work with them. So starting on the mind, I check out with them, what are the thoughts that are running the show? What are the self-sabotaging thoughts? How could they become more self-loving? And we do that through coaching, through talking, through exploring. There's a lot I can pick up through somebody's language. You can, through one conversation with somebody, you can often identify what their results are in their life, like what they're actually getting back through their language, through their thoughts and belief systems. So there's a lot of talking that we do. And then I encourage them on their own in terms of supporting their mindset. Again, back to journaling, keeping on track with just being in conscious daily awareness. It's almost like constantly banging home the idea that you've got to do the work, you've got to be on it all the time. Be conscious. Stop going into unconsciousness and not taking responsibility for your life. Be conscious. Notice what you're thinking. And ask yourself, when you think that thought, is it loving? Or is it hurting you? And what could you do to change that thought up? Because literally we get what we think about. So I do a lot of work with women around retraining their mindset, retraining their thoughts and beliefs. And then on the emotional level, I'm a big believer that long-term repression brings about depression. So we as a society are very good at pushing down emotions. No one's shown us, in many cases, how to healthily express our emotions. So we push them down we eat, we overwork, we shop online, we put our attention into other people so that we don't have to deal with what we're really feeling. And most women don't even really know how they're feeling. And they don't really get that they're probably feeling like 10 things at once. You can be feeling really happy and excited and at the same time really worried and tired and anxious. All at the same, it's all going on at once. So I love to work with women around emotional expression, having them just identify a beautiful daily practice. When you wake up in the morning, make a cup of tea, the amount of time it takes for the kettle to boil, just stand there and just ask yourself, how do I feel? Because most of the time we're like, kettle on. Women, particularly with families, we're off, we're doing something else, and we're thinking, and we just don't stop and breathe. So spend a minute. How do I feel? What do I desire for today? What do I need today? What do I need? Do I need a walk? Do I need to go and grab a coffee on my own? Do I need to spend 10 minutes journaling? Do I need to spend 20 minutes meditating? Like, what do I need? Within that, there's so much liberation, because just that alone, God, that just frees up so many women. So emotional expression is really important. And then on a physical level, I really support women in terms of their diet, their exercise, really detoxifying so that they can be that really beautiful, clean, clear, healthy, energetic channel to living the life that they're meant to live. I think women have this sense that they've got to do it all and be it all and have it all. And I think there's a sense that, we women love the idea of having equality with men, and quite rightly we should. And somehow in the process we've forgotten how to be women. Somehow in the process we've forgotten that every human being is a mixture of feminine and masculine energy. We all are, men and women. And somehow, through the desire to be seen as equal and treated equally as men, we have become more masculine. So we're all about doing and taking action. And we've forgotten our feminine nature, which is to be, to receive. There's nothing more feminine than connecting in spiritually. Meditation is a beautiful feminine practice for men and women. Men should be doing it as well to express their feminine energy. We've forgotten self-care, nurturing, just taking care of ourselves because we're too busy doing and trying to prove ourselves, trying to prove our worth. When the truth is, and this is self-love, you're worthy just as you are. Who you are is enough. It's beautiful, it's perfect. So that's what I see most in women, is them just trying to be men. And trying to be perfect, they're trying to be perfect and it's exhausting. They're absolutely shattered. They don't allow themselves to be vulnerable. For a woman to develop the capacity to really deeply love herself, from there she will start to be able to trust herself. She will see that there's strength in her vulnerability, real beauty in it. In her imperfection, there's beauty within it. She will start to see that she has some unique, special gift to share with the world, and that she's enough just as she is.